What up, everyone on YouTube? This is Lewis Out Trans, aka M25, aka Lewis JM. And I want to talk to you about two specific movies that is going to be coming out in the October season. Well, one movie in particular, but there's another one that I might be vaguely interested in. So, as we all know, October's going to be coming up soon. At the time of this recording, it's the start of June. So that could only mean that Halloween will be arriving in a few good months. And with that comes, of course, ideas from the Halloween Horror Nights and all the other interesting stuff that's going to happen. But the one thing I want to talk about is the movies in general. And there are two specific movies that I might be interested in watching because of what they are. Now, the first movie I want to talk to you about would be The Haunted Mansion. Now, granted, the first Haunted Mansion, which came out in, I believe, give me a second while I take a look. I think it was somewhere in 2006, 2007. I still need to take a look and see. (2003). Yeah, it came out 2003, which was 20 years ago. And while it did had its unique charm to it, it didn't live up to the lore of the actual ride itself. Instead, it was mostly a comedy skit that involves Eddie Murphy. Though you gotta admit, that catacombs scene was the closest thing we would ever had to a horror film. However, but the rest, nothing but comedy, and a flimsy storyline that made no sense whatsoever. Still, even so, we weren't expecting another Haunted Mansion film that would come out 20 years later. And lo and behold, they got both the teaser and the official trailers for that movie. And I'm looking at it and I was like, they're making an actual horror film there. I mean, I don't know if it's like real life horror in general, but it does scream horror in a certain way. And you could see all of the classic tropes within the Haunted Mansion ride in general. The clock, the organ, the very, very creepy character with the head in the lantern, the crystal ball lady, even though the crystal ball lady was in also the 2003, but it was pretty much a plot device. But still, everything looked and felt like it was an actual Haunted Mansion ride. And it does make it look somewhat straight out of horror. So, seeing that, well, I would be intrigued to watch this movie. I mean, it's gonna come out in October, right? I'm pretty sure it would come out in October. Okay, I got it here. Since the release date is the 28th of July, well, I guess we can't get what we want in October, but there is one film in October that a lot of people have been waiting to see for a long time. And that's Five Nights at Freddy's. For those of you who don't know who Five Nights at Freddy's is, it's pretty much an indie horror game created by Scott Cawthon, the very person behind that Beaver game that a lot of people say was look a little creepy, and Scott kind of got the idea of making a horror thing based around beavers, and I'm like, yeah, that's the thing that happened. And when it came out in 2014, about 9 years ago, it exploded in popularity. I mean, not only do you have like 3, 4 original game, 5 at least, you had Ultimate Custom Night, you have the Help Wanted VR games, you have the Security Breach, you have like fan fictions and creepypastas and pretty much anything and everything. All Five Nights related, Gmods included. And after all these years, people have been clamoring for an actual FNAF movie. And while the idea looked like it was going to happen. Scott, who is behind the FNAF, usually turned down certain scripts that don't fit his vision. And yet, for some reason, certain scripts are either destroyed or, let's just say, reworked in other type of franchises. I mean, you had an actual Banana Splits movie that went from being a 60s cartoon show to a horror movie, and that raises question. That's something that would be horrible. But then, of course, you have Willy's Wonderland, which involves a security guard beating the living shit out of animatronics. And believe me, when I say this, that John Travolta being a complete mute and beating robots definitely is better than all the meme movies that he's been on multiple times, Rainfield included. But after 9 years, not only do we have an actual FNAF movie that will be coming out in late October, but it's going to be done by Blumhouse, the same people that made the Purge series, Sinister, Get Out, Happy Death Day, a long list of incredible movies. And not only that, but the animatronics that look exactly like that in the game were done by the Jim Henson Creature Factory, which that's an additional plus at best. Now, I've seen the teaser trailer and I'm like, this shows promise, but then there are questions. I mean, yes, most of it's going to take place in the pizza place, Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria, which is understandable. But, and this is a big but, there are certain scenes that either take place in like, I think the wood area, and there's also a psychiatrist's office. I have no idea what that is, but everything else is like going to be in the pizza place. So, you see these animatronics, you see them killing people, that would be awesome. Now, there is the question on how it's going to be rated. Believe me when I say this, Blumhouse has its thing when it deals with R-rated movies that are rated R in a way, which is mostly blood, guts, nudity, the usual types of tropes that we see in rated R horror movies. I mean, looking at this one, I'm hoping that this is just going to be PG-13 because, let's be honest, these are animatronics we're talking about. That's gonna slay people. I don't think you're gonna have a lot of blood and guts from that in general. And now that I think about it, I'm wondering how Haunted Mansion's gonna get rated. Because I know considering this is a Disney property, I would doubt. I believe that's going to be PG-13 in a way because, well, maybe it's not horror in a way, but that could lead to a death or two in the mansion, preferably in certain occasions, but yeah, I feel like that's going to be intriguing to watch. Still, the question remains, will I watch these two movies? Good answer? Yeah. I mean, when you look back, you get to see what appears to be two promising movies that would have high potential because of the studios that are being created, that are creating these things, and the talent. Hell, if it were up to me, if I watch both Haunted Mansion and Five Nights at Freddy's in the October season, considering I usually spent most of the time watching, like, Halloween Havoc on Halloween, I might do a Who Ward better like I did last time with Power Rangers and Ghost in a Shell, because those two were based around popular franchises. But let's wait and see what happens, because you gotta have your skepticism in a twist, and you need to make sure that if these movies are going to be good or not. So, what do you guys think? You gonna be watching Haunted Mansion and Five Nights at Freddy's? Are you gonna be watching one of the two movies? Or don't really care about them? Just leave me a comment below and leave me, and also a like. And I'll talk to you guys sometime soon. And don't forget to stay tuned for more videos by yours truly. Thank you, and hope to see you guys again. # where are the good cartoons.